Hallo und willkommen zu Lonestar. Wir spielen Agathe Christie, Hercule Poirot, The First Cases. Tja, was wollten wir jetzt eigentlich machen? Wir haben als letztes mit Angeline geredet. Was wollten wir tun? Gibt es hier einen neuen Eintrag? Nein. Vielleicht gehen wir noch mal runter. Ach, runter darf ich nicht. Ja, sowas. Sollen wir dann hoch? Hallo Cassandra. Nochmal eine Bosch.
Aha.
Madame van der Bosch Collection. Ja, die kennen wir ja alle. Ein Fireplace, da können wir auch stundenlang reinschauen.
Oh.
Sollen wir in der Schublade rumrühren, während sie daneben steht?
Ha.
Ja, wieso nicht? Können wir aus dem Fenster schauen und das Schneetreiben beobachten? Ja, können wir. Perfume Bottles. These perfume bottles look rather expensive. It would be wise to be very careful with them. Aber ein schöner Schreibtisch. Okay, dann reden wir mal mit ihr.
Detective Poirot, what do you think you are doing in here?
Alles durchwühlen und überall hingucken.
I have something I wish to discuss with you.
Well, I hope it is important enough to justify barging into one's bedroom.
I assure you it is.
Good, because this has gone on far too long. We are snowed in this house while a murderer runs amok.
I can understand your frustrations, but it is not as simple as...
You were once an incompetent officer, and now it seems you are just as incompetent as a detective.
If I was not being lied to and misled at every turn, perhaps the murderer would already be in custody.
I hope you are not suggesting I had something to do with Felix's murder.
I am suggesting that if I had the support that everyone claims they are offering, we would be in a very different situation.
If you have something you want to ask, I suggest you ask me now.
I was not aware the Major had been so close to your daughter.
We met before Angeline was born, so he was often at the house when she was growing up.
And where was it you two met?
I was attending an event. Felix was also in attendance as a serving officer. A conversation was struck.
So it was not through the Viscount that you two met?
I did not require my husband to start conversations on my behalf.
It was you that instigated it then?
My, detective. That active imagination of yours has taken you on quite some journey.
Madame is attempting to deflect from a subject she obviously doesn't feel comfortable discussing. The late Viscount and the Major were surely friends then?
Edwin spent much of his time away on business before Angeline was born. Felix was a welcome distraction from the loneliness of the house.
You were alone in the house?
The staff continued their duties, of course, but trying to get any sort of sophisticated or cultured conversation from them was like drawing blood from a stone.
And when Angeline was born?
Edwin remained at home. It was his duty as a father.
And the Major?
He had his own business and life to tend to, but we remained in touch via letter. Around the time of Edwin's passing, Felix had relocated to the area.
Madame is incredibly coy and brief with the information she offers, but with the Viscount's death coinciding with the Major's return, surely a mere coincidence is too far-fetched. I would like to ask you about a letter I found in the Major's study.
I'm sure he has hundreds of letters in there. Most of them could and should have been thrown away a long time ago. You are going to have to be more specific.
I refer to the letter addressed to you, the one of a romantic nature.
Romantic nature? Oh, please, Detective. Felix did not have a romantic bone in his body.
He made his intentions quite clear in the letter. I must admit I myself was surprised.
You really do have quite the active imagination, Detective. If that is how you wish to interpret it, so be it. But I can assure you, the Major did not think of me that way, and certainly did not include it in a letter.
Ja, die lügt doch.
I think that is all for now. Merci, madame.
So. Also, was hat sie gesagt? The Major returned after the Viscount's death. The Major went above and beyond the call of any friend to return and comfort Cassandra. Why would he do this? Cassandra claims the Major didn't love her. Cassandra denies the Major had feelings for her, but his letter states otherwise. Cassandra met the Major before Angeline's birth. I was not aware their friendship spanned so many years. Also, dann haben wir die zwei Aussagen, die sich widersprechen.
Come, my little Graces.
Und das ist schon mal nicht richtig. Also, es müssen hier jetzt irgendwie zwei Verbindungen sein, die hier irgendwie dazu passen. Man muss aufpassen, es geht hier noch weiter. Habe ich eigentlich die schon versucht mal zu verbinden?
I cannot see the logic in this. Perhaps
Okay.
a second...
Nein, 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 mag er nicht. Eieiei. Ja, sollte er nicht immer die wegkreuzen, die wir Fehlversuche gemacht haben? Passen die vielleicht? Wir haben zum einen das Bild.
Is there something...
Nee, auch nicht. Eieieiei. Okay. Also, das haben wir ja schon wieder verdödelt. Es leuchten schon wieder alle. Es war ja wenig erstaunlich, dass es jetzt diese hier sind. Man muss nur den richtigen Punkt zum Andocken finden. Aber das habe ich doch gerade eben versucht, oder nicht?
Things are beginning to become clearer.
Ich dachte. It is obvious that the Major cared for Cassandra. That is no surprise to anyone. Talk to Cassandra. The Major cared about Cassandra. Warum das ausgerechnet mit dem Geburtstagsgeschenk zusammenhängen soll, weiß ich auch nicht.
What a revelation!
Aber Poirot weiß es. With the Viscount gun, the Major stepped up and acted as a fatherly figure to her. The Major was acting as a father figure to Angeline.
Is this really necessary?
Ja, aber auf jeden Fall. If you are correct and the Major had no romantic feeling towards you, why would he keep a photograph of you and Mademoiselle Angeline hidden?
He may have stayed in my home, but Felix was a grown man, Detective. What he kept, hidden or otherwise, has nothing to do with me.
Ah, sie weicht wieder aus.
But it does not surprise you that he had such a photograph?
We have been friends, and he has been there for Angeline for many years. But you find it strange that he keeps a reminder of us? Perhaps that says more about you, Detective.
What I do find strange is that if he did hold a flame for you, why he would never express it.
If he did, it was not reciprocated. I have not even considered another since my husband's passing. Not that it is any of your business.
I think that is all for now. Merci, madame.
Ja, sie lügt doch jedes Mal. Also, was haben wir als nächstes? Cassandra has no romantic feelings towards the Major. Cassandra says she has not considered another partner since the Viscount passed. Could I have missed the sign of her commitment to the Major? Das braucht jetzt also eine Verbindung. Passt es vielleicht, dass wir sagen, wir haben hier, er darf hier bleiben, aber er hat überhaupt nichts beigetragen, außer dass er da war.
Magnifique.
As much as she tries to deny it, Cassandra shared the Major's feeling in some capacity. Jetzt müssen wir nochmal mit ihr reden. Cassandra cared about the Major.
Is this really necessary?
Aus der müssen wir wirklich alles rauskitzeln. Push on by Cassandra has housed the Major for so long.
Who I allow in my house is none of your business. I do not have to explain anything to you.
I did not think you were one for charity.
I would not expect you to think much of anything. There is no need to talk on it any further, but I'm sure you will remember that, financially speaking, we have had our issues.
Ja, er hat aber nicht geholfen. I have all the evidence I need to confront Madame van den Bosch. It is my approach to the questions I must consider. She will no doubt be defensive when pushed, but that may be the only way, as she will not give up any information she doesn't want too easily. Sollen wir gleich mit Forceful dann starten? Na, aber das kommt mir doch irgendwie sinnvoller vor. And yet you allowed the Major to reside here, even without contributing?
Need I repeat
war wohl
myself,
nicht so gut.
Detective? There is no need to talk any more on the subject. Men and women can remain friends without any romantic involvement. I'm sure you are aware of that. Your insistent questioning on such trivial matters are getting on my last nerve. There is a murderer and a blackmailer to be found. That is your job here.
Is declaration of love meant nothing to you then?
Your continued probing into something that does not exist is
War wieder
becoming
nix.
quite tiresome. There
Eieieiei.
is nothing I can tell you that will magically present what you are looking for, Detective. I have grown weary of this conversation, Poirot. There is nothing more to say.
Your continued reluctance to answer my questions and defensive nature suggests that there was a shared love between you. Ah, diesmal hat's gesessen.
Madame, you continue to withhold the truth.
And you continue to get on my last nerve. I am not obliged to tell you every detail of my private life.
But when it impedes my investigation.
Believe what you wish. You clearly have no idea what you're talking about. My personal life has nothing to do with your investigation. I don't know how else it can be said. Keep your nose out of my business.
Oh, wir haben versagt. Wir haben völlig versagt und jetzt müssen wir es nochmal machen.
Who I allow in my house is none of your business. I
Poirot
do
hat
not
es in
have to
Wirklichkeit
explain
nicht gemacht.
anything to you.
I did not think you were one for charity.
I would not expect you to think much of anything. There is no need to talk on it any further, but I'm sure you will remember that, financially speaking, we have had our issues.
Okay, dann versuchen wir es mal mit forceful. Das suggestive war nix. Why is it you protect the name of Monsieur Hagen so resolutely?
He was a man that required no protection, Detective, especially from me.
That is the impression I had of him, which is why your defensive stance warrants questioning.
Your insistent questioning on such trivial matters are getting on my last nerve. There is a murderer and a blackmailer to be found. That is your job here.
Jetzt haben wir es schon wieder vergessen. War das oder was anderes? Suggesting by the Major's words in the letter, it was not only one that he sent declaring his love.
How many times do I have to tell you? There was no romantic feelings between us. I have grown weary of this conversation, Poirot. There is nothing more to say.
Okay, jetzt nochmal forceful.
Madame, you continue to withhold the truth.
And you continue to get on my last nerve. I am not obliged to tell you every detail of my private life.
Also von den bisherigen Antworten, die sie gegeben hat, steht sie doch genauso resolut da wie zuvor.
But when it impedes my investigation...
If only you were this focused on finding the blackmailer and...
Madame.
Very well. I did not lie about how we met. I was attending an event, raising money for... Oh, I cannot recall now. It had been some time since I had returned home, and was rather missing English soil. I was aware of Felix's invitation, or at least that there was to be several British officers attending the party, and that is where our friendship began. He was a warm reminder of home, and I enjoyed conversing with him. We shared walks in the park and read together. As I said, he was a welcome distraction from the days spent alone. I shall go no further with the details, but I will say, I had no intention on being unfaithful to my husband. It was never our plan to go that far.
Plan, aber vielleicht ist sie es
Once
trotzdem.
I found out I was pregnant, I knew it had to stop.
The Viscount never questioned Mademoiselle's birth?
In his mind, he had no reason to, and he shouldn't have had to. It was my mistake to bear. If he knew the truth, our lives would have been ruined. I told Felix that he was to stay away, but he had no intention to. He became an uncle figure to Angeline, and they grew closer after Edwin's death. I could not tell her the truth. Too much time had passed. The secret remained only between him and I. Until now.
And what were the Major's thoughts on revealing the truth?
He wanted to tell her everything. He wanted her to know exactly who he was. But I told him no. It would not have been the poignant reconciliation that he expected. She would not understand.
Can I assume that this is the secret that has been used for a ransom?
It must be. But I have told no one.
And the Major?
Felix promised me he wouldn't tell a soul, and I believed him. But even if he wanted to.
If the Major had let slip even once throughout the years, perhaps in an intoxicated state, it is a secret that many would seek an opportunity to gain from.
You did not think anyone knew, and that is why you disregarded the letter.
If you bow to these criminals, They will only try to claw more from you.
Tell me about the letters.
I tried to retrieve them from the safe after everyone had retired last night. But when I opened the safe, they were nowhere to be found. I assumed he must have hidden them somewhere else.
When I entered the study this morning, they were as visible as a red notice on a police station wall.
I would appreciate if you did not compare them to the face of a wanted felon.
Pardon, madame.
But that does mean someone else in the house has seen them. I don't understand. Why would they return them?
A mystery that is still yet to be solved.
Madame was beaten to the safe by another. It seems we also have a thief within these walls to add to the list of criminals. But a thief that returns their spoils. Hat's vielleicht die Angeline gelesen?
I think that is all for now. Merci, madame.
The uncertain connection between the Major and the ransom has been resolved. The Major was being blackmailed. The letters were not written by his hand. What remains unresolved is why the Major was being blackmailed. 2 cases of extortion under one roof? The question of the relationship must be asked. The Major's secret is anything but obvious from his letter. I now have a blackmailer and a murderer and a weapon to find. If the correct process is followed, they shall all be found swiftly. Das haben wir schon mal gesagt und außerdem haben wir jetzt noch einen Dieb. I should take my leave. This room has already revealed enough new insights into Madame's and the Major's lives. I had my suspicions that Madame van den Bosch and the Major shared a romantic relationship, but I did not expect the revelation of his connection to Mademoiselle Angeline. I am now one of the very few that hold Madame's secret. Ja, das habe ich mir aber vorher schon gedacht, auch wenn ich hier sonst die Verbindungen manchmal ein bisschen schwer finde. Die habe ich schon vorher gehabt. War vielleicht ein bisschen rather obvious, huh? Also. The Major ist Angelines Vater. This is a twist I could not have predicted. The question is, who else is aware? No one knew of the affair. Cassandra is adamant that no one knew of the affair, but someone must have found out. Someone accessed the safe before Cassandra. Cassandra tried to find the letters she knew were hidden in the safe. Someone bet her to it. Gibt aber noch eine neue Verbindung. Hier. Dann gehen wir. Ja, mit dir ist doch auch was faul.
Detective Poirot, how is your investigation coming?
Geht dich das irgendwas an den Arsch?
Monsieur Sterling, I must admit, I have learned much more than I was expecting to.
You'll be wrapping the case up soon, then.
One has never finished learning, monsieur, and in this case, I shall need to continue if I am to find the Major's killer.
It might help to vocalize your thinking. I'm all ears.
Monsieur Sterling offers an interesting concept. If I was to state the current position of my investigation, while holding back certain truths, the guilty parties may realize I'm hot on their heels and reveal their hand.
Monsieur, would you gather the guests and staff in the salon?
Right away, Detective. Can I ask for what reason?
I shall reveal all once everyone is together.
Chapter 6. The Search.
Detective, what is the meaning of all this?
Madame, I ask that you all lend me your ears for only a few moments. What I have to say is of great significance to everyone. You are all invited here to celebrate the engagement of Mademoiselle Angeline van den Bosch and Monsieur Gédéon Demire, the coming together of two prevalent families. But the celebrations were short-lived, as Major Felix Egan was found dead in his study by a young servant of the house. It then became my responsibility and obligation as a detective to uncover the truth behind his demise. My initial examination of his study exposed a number of things I did not expect to find. Things I have no desire to divulge at this time, but what I can say is this. It was no simple murder. A letter demanding ransom for a continued silence confirmed this. I am sure some, if not all of you, have heard whispers of a series of blackmails that have plagued the social elite in recent weeks. After hearing of the letters in the Major's study, you may ask if it was him behind the letters. You may further ask if he was preparing his next threat to another unsuspecting victim. It is a question that crossed even my mind. That was until I sought the truth. That in fact it was the Major that had fallen victim to our blackmailer Mystérieux. Last night I spoke with you all, confirmed your whereabouts in the house over the course of the evening, and while I would have expected such questioning to reveal a potential suspect, what I learned was that it could not have been one of you.
What do you mean, not one of us? The man was stabbed. He hardly did that to himself. There is still a killer in the house.
Pardon, monsieur, if you would allow me to finish. It could not have been only one of you. Rather a partneria, a partnership, in cahoots, if you will. Conversations today have revealed facts that I was not expecting to discover. And although they may have muddied and complicated my investigation, what I must do to bring the guilty parties to justice has become clearer. Those of you that spun stories in an attempt to confuse and derail my investigation have made a grave mistake in underestimating my intelligence. Other detectives may fall for such deception, but I can assure you, Detective Poirot is no such fool. My investigation is far from over, and swift justice shall be dealt to those that have committed such appalling acts and have continued to mislead and lie to protect themselves. Now, I must continue mon enquête, and I shall leave you to consider that you may be beside a cold-hearted killer. Bonsoir. Monsieur Sterling, un moment.
Quite the speech, Detective.
Merci, but it was not made to entertain, more to warn the guilty parties that I am hot on their heels, no matter how clever they believe themselves to be.
Well, if there is anything I can do.
Tja, was soll man sagen? Sollen wir die Guest Bedrooms durchschauen? Irgendwas hat es mit den Saints auch auf sich. Ich kann noch ein paar Fragen stellen. Ja, aber ich würde sagen, das machen wir heute nicht mehr. Machen wir diese Stelle lieber erstmal ein kleines Päuschen. Und ich hoffe, es hat euch gefallen und wir sehen uns das nächste Mal.